常念恭敬观世音菩萨。法界佛教总会创办人宣化上人开示于1971年美国金山圣法界佛教总会因监制。
用功就是你依照这个方法去修行。
You rely on the method for reciting Guan Bodhisattva's name to cultivate.
不间断。
And you never let it be cut off.
时时刻刻不间断。
Never stop. Never let it be cut off, your recitation.
来用功。
That is to develop your skill.
来修行。
To make effort in your practice.
在这个修行的期间
During the time of practice,
必须要有一种忍耐性。
You must be patient.
有一种坚固的心。
You must be determined, have solid determination.
来用功。
While you work on your skill.
这个大观音期，这是修行的一部分。
One aspect of cultivation happens when we have a Guan Bodhisattva session.
也是用功的一个法门。
This is a Dharma door for developing your skill.
因为我们要不定出一个时间来修行。
Because if we don't set a time for intensive practice,
那么就很马虎。
then we'll get sloppy.
或者今天修行，明天呢就懈怠了。
And we'll get a pattern going of cultivating today and then taking it easy tomorrow.
或者这个时间修行，那个时间就懈怠。
Or cultivating during this period and then relaxing during that period.
在这个大观音期呀，
So during a Guan Yin session,
这叫克期取证。
it's a time when we can try to gain some certification, to try to prove our skill.
在这7天呢，时时刻刻在念观世音菩萨。
During these 7 days, at all times, we should be mindful of Guan Bodhisattva.
时时刻刻思维观世音菩萨。
At all times, we should recollect and reflect upon Guan Bodhisattva.
因为我们人呢，在这个7天就会有一个大转变。
Because the human body goes through a large change in a 7-day cycle.
有一个大的变化。
It affects a major change every 7 days.
就是我们身体也有一个大的变化。
This is a physical change.
这叫7日来复。
So it said that we rejuvenate in a 7-day period.
你这个身体里边的气血循环，
The patterns of the qi, the energy, and the blood, the circulation patterns,
在这7天呢，这叫1周。
go through a cycle in 7 days.
这1周呢，就好像轮回似的，这1周过去了，那1周又开始了。
And these 7-day cycles go on and on, just like the revolving of a wheel.
气血循环。我们这个时呢，
So every 7 days, our qi, our energy, goes through a cycle.
眼耳鼻舌身意这6识。
And as to our consciousness, the 6 consciousnesses of eyes, ears, nose, tongue, body, and mind.
再加上一个第7，这个传送识。
As well as the 7th, the transmitting consciousness.
这个传送识，把第6意识的影子传送到第8识去。
The transmitting consciousness, the 7th consciousness, takes the images brought in by the first 5 consciousnesses and transmits them to the 8th consciousness.
每逢1周，它那么轮着眼耳鼻舌身意，然后这个传送识轮回1周。
So the eyes, ears, nose, tongue, body, and mind, and the 7th consciousness go through 7-day cycles.
要能转识成智。
Now, if you're able to take the consciousnesses and turn them into wisdom,
不跟着这个识跑，把它变过来，变成智慧。
in a cycle of time like that, if you can turn your consciousness into wisdom,
转8识成4智。
you take the 8 consciousnesses and turn them into the 4 wisdoms.
这叫开悟。
Well, that's known as becoming enlightened.
你转识成智，这叫开悟。你能转过来，眼睛本来是眼识啊，耳头是耳识啊，鼻子是鼻识啊。
You turn them. You turn the ear and the capacity to listen, that is the ear consciousness. You turn the eye and the capacity to see, that is the eye consciousness.
舌是舌识啊，身 是身识，意识意识。
The tongue and the tongue consciousness, the body and the body consciousness.
莫罗识，这么多识，都可以变成智慧。
And the mind consciousness, you turn them and they turn into wisdom.
你六根门头都变成智慧了。
So, right at the gates of the six sense organs, wisdom arises. And when that happens, then right at the gates of the six sense organs, light is emitted, and the earth is made to tremble.
眼睛放这个智慧光，
The eyes emit the light of wisdom.
耳朵也放智慧光，
The ears emit the light of wisdom.
鼻子也放智慧光，
The nose emits the light of wisdom.
舌也放智慧光，
The tongue emits the light of wisdom.
身也放智慧光，
The body emits the light of wisdom.
意也放智慧光。
And the mind emits light of wisdom.
这个六根门头放大光明了，
So at the gates of the six sense organs, great light is emitted.
这也叫光明遍照。
That's also known as light that shines everywhere.
所以你们各位呀，不要光以为光明遍照是佛的光明遍照。
So you shouldn't think that light illuminating everywhere refers to the Buddha's light. This is the translation of Vairochana Buddha's name.
而每一个人都可以光明遍照。
Actually, each human being has the capacity to have light be emitted and shine everywhere.
为什么你不能照呢？因为你没有会用你的智慧，你净用你。
And why can't you emit it? It's because you haven't yet learned how to use your wisdom.
你这个识这个识什么叫识呢？识
You're turned by the consciousness.
是分别。
And consciousness is synonymous with discrimination or making distinctions.
分别，然后你明白了。
When we make distinctions and discriminate, then we understand things.
什么叫智呢？智是不需要分别。
And what is wisdom? Wisdom does not rely on discrimination or making distinctions.
不需要分别就明白。
Without making distinctions, you understand.
现在咱们念观世音菩萨。
Now we are reciting the name of Guan Bodhisattva.
就是要念到六根门头放光动地。
And we want to recite to the point that light is emitted from the gates of the six sense organs, and that light shines on everything and causes the earth to tremble.
六根门头放光，大地六边震动。
The six sense organs emit light, and the great earth trembles and quakes in 6 ways.
这是得到一点点的响应分。
And that is a manifestation of a bit of response.
就问了，说是眼 眼睛也有智慧，耳朵也有智慧。耳朵智慧是什么样子呢？
Someone is asking, you say the eyes have wisdom and the ears have wisdom. Well, can you describe the kind of wisdom that the ears have?
耳朵是可以听，眼睛是也可以看。
Because ears can only hear and eyes can only see.
这怎么会有智慧？
How can we call that wisdom?
舌头也有智慧，鼻子也有智慧。
The tongue also has wisdom, and so does the nose.
我听这个人有智慧，没有智慧就是大用。
Wisdom is just knowing how to make them function.
既可以看，又可以听，又可以吃东西，又可以闻。
This means that any one of the 6 sense organs has the functions of the other. For instance, the eye can also hear and taste and smell.
见闻嗅尝觉知，眼睛可以具足这6种的。
So, for instance, the eye can have the function of hearing, smelling, tasting, touching, and thinking, as well as seeing.
看百千万种的颜色，不要用心里去想这是白色的，那是红色的，那是。
You can be looking at an infinite number of colors, and you don't have to go through a thinking process to discriminate what is red and what is white,
是蓝色的，那是黑色的，
or
那是
blue, or black,
黄色的，
or yellow.
不要分别，
You don't need to make those distinctions.
不要这么想去分析这个颜色，百千万种的颜色。
You don't need to think about what the names of the colors are.
同时可以分别。
You can simultaneously know them all.
可以清楚这种种的颜色。
You can be very clear about all the colors.
耳朵呢，也具足6根的这个作用。
Ears are also replete with all 6 functions.
也有这个见闻嗅尝觉知这种功能。
Ears are capable of seeing as well as hearing, and then smelling, tasting, touching, and thinking.
耳朵又可以看东西，
Ears can see things.
又可以听东西，
Ears can hear things.
又可以闻东西，又可以尝东西。
Ears can also taste and smell things.
触又可以知道。说是
And it also can recognize touch.
这种的智慧我不希望有。
Now, some people are saying, well, I don't want to have this kind of wisdom.
为什么呢？我觉得这如果一个耳朵就有这么多的用处，这很麻烦的吧？
Why not? Because when I think about it, if the ear alone has all those functions, I think that would be very problematic, a lot of trouble.
耳朵也争着吃，眼睛也争着吃，
The ears will be fighting for things to eat, and the eyes will be fighting for things to
嘴
eat,
也争着吃。你
and the lips, the mouth will be fighting for things to eat.
说我要用哪一根去吃东西呢？
And then you have to try to decide which organ you're going to use to eat your meal with.
这不是麻烦事情吗？
Now, isn't that a big bother?
他们要争再打起来怎么办呢？
And what if they were to be fighting over Dharma?
这不是麻烦事情吗？他们要真正的打起来怎么办呢？
Oh no. What if they fought to the point that they tried to strike each other? Deal each other blows?
不会，
Well, it won't happen that way.
他们他吃他就不吃，不会争的。
They'll each eat in their own way and there won't be any fighting.
因为他们这个六根互用的境界，
Because this state where the 6 sense organs have interpenetrating functions
不会互相争的，
is a state in which there won't be any contention, no fighting.
是互用，
They are mutually functioning together, helping each other,
而不是互争。
not mutually contending and fighting.
他们彼此都没有什么贪心。
Between them, among them, there isn't any greed.
这个贪心就是帮助这个身体，他们
Their only greed is in making sure they help the body function.
你想吃东西也是帮助这个身体，
Because when you want to eat, it's because you want to help your body function.
所以只有一根呢，把这个事情办了，其余的那5根呢，也都很欢喜，说好了。
So any one of the organs that can make this happen will please the other organs. There won't be any fighting.
你这么不懒惰，你做办6根的事情你都办了，那最好了。
So for any one organ not to be lazy and to be able to perform all 6 functions will be the source of praise by the other organs.
那5根你休息。所以呢，这就叫智慧。
So that's a definition of wisdom.
因为他不会互相给互相彼此给麻烦，所以
Because they won't give each other trouble.
这叫智慧。这种的智慧，儿头百千万种的音声，大音声、小音声、粗音声、细音声、好音声、坏音声无论你是长短高低平这个声音呢，它都分得清清楚楚的。
Now as to the ear, it doesn't matter whether it's a high sound, a low sound, a big sound, a little sound, a good sound, a bad sound. It will distinguish them all very clearly.
百千万种的音声同时具作，好像
And if all of those kinds of sounds were happening simultaneously,
这个马声、牛声、猪声、狗声
like sounds of cows and dogs and pigs and horses
这个蚊虫声
and mosquitoes,
无论什么声它不需要分别，而清清楚楚的各种的声音。
the ear is not going to have to make distinctions and discriminate them all. It will be able to to hear them all clearly, simultaneously, and know what they are.
这鼻子也是这样，
Now the functions of the nose are the same,
舌也是这样，
and the tongue can do that too,
身也是这样，
and the body also.
这叫6根门头放光动地。
So that's what's meant by light being emitted from the entrances to the 6 sense organs. Light that shines on everything and makes the earth tremble.
想6根门头都有智慧的话，先念观世音菩萨。
However, if we want to obtain that wisdom, first we have to recite Guan Bodhisattva's name.